welcome to my top albums of 2022. You know, it's that time of year where we just do countdowns and things like that, and I'm no different. Every year this time of year, I count things down because that's just what humans do, I guess. And so this week I've had fun recommending my favorite TV shows of 2022 on Monday. On Tuesday, I did my favorite restaurants. And yesterday, Wednesday, I did my favorite moments of 2022. And I was kind of surprised at how many favorite moments I had. So now I'm doing one of my favorite countdowns, and that's the best albums of 2022. So what I'm going to do is my 10 favorite record store day releases this year first, and then my 10 favorite reissues next, and then the big part, the huge list, is the top 22 album releases of 2022. So stay tuned, sit back, have fun, and by the way, every album on this list you should listen to. They're just absolute awesome. Okay, so the first section that we're going to do is record store day releases. And there were 2 record store day drops this year, and then of course fake record store day, which is what I call the Black Friday sale, because it's just not real record store day, but it's fake record store day. All in all, this year I got 28 records throughout these 3 record store day events. And because I got 28, I'm only doing 10 because of time constraints. So here are my 10 favorites of record store day. And my first one is Stevie Nicks' Belladonna. They reissued this with a beautiful gatefold cover on 2 discs. The first disc is a remastered version of Belladonna, and the second disc is some things that didn't make it to the album. So it's a really cool purchase, and you might still be able to pick some of those up in the record store. The second one is the Proclaimers' Sunshine on Leith, and this is the group that has that song I'm Gonna Walk 1,000 Miles. So I wanted to get the album, and it actually is a really good album. So I'm glad I got this. This next album, I had to have this. Of all the record store day releases this year, this is the one that I just had to have. I mean, anyone should have this. Patti Smith, curated by Record Store Day. I mean, Patti Smith is just phenomenal. And there's a lot of her best songs are on this album, so I had to have this one. And it's a 2-disc set. You may be able to pick it up at the record store still. I'm not sure. I haven't checked. The next one is Belle Biv DeVoe's Poison. I had to have this because in high school, you know, that song was just the bomb. So this is one of those that I definitely had to have. The next one has a really cool Easter egg in it, and I picked this up because it's the group The Damned, and the album's Strawberries, and if you open the album and pull out the sleeve, there's this cool little picture of a strawberry. Well, the strawberry this actually smells like a strawberry. So it's kind of a cool little Easter egg in the album, and that's kind of why I like vinyl, is because you get these cool little Easter eggs sometimes. My next one that I purchased was America's Greatest Hits. I had to have this album. It's America. I mean, Horse with No Names, Ventura Highway, you gotta have this. This next one I've been looking for years. I used to have it on cassette, and I also had it on CD briefly, but I wanted the vinyl of it. Sweet Relief, a tribute to Victoria Williams. This album was done in the 90s, and Pearl Jam was on it with Crazy Mary, which is such a good song. This album started a benefit for artists who don't have Medicare, and it's to help them and stuff. And Victoria Williams, she got diagnosed, I think, with multiple sclerosis, and this is why they created this album, and it's just a phenomenal album. There's so many good artists on here. Lucinda Williams even makes an appearance on here. Michael Penn, Pearl Jam, Maria McKee, Matthew Sweet. Just an awesome album. If you get a chance, purchase this like on any format. You'll love it. The next one I got this, well, I think the next 3 I got on fake record store day this year. So David Bowie, The Next Day EP, like when I bought that album, I swear there must be subliminal messages or something in that album, because I mean, I like David Bowie, but I wasn't into him enough to purchase albums at that time. But that Next Day album was just phenomenal. I wore it out, and so I had to get the EP releases to it, and it's amazing. There's some awesome remix on it. One of my favorite songs is "I'd Rather Be High," and there's a good remix on there. So if you get a chance, I've seen this in the record store still. So if you get a chance, pick it up. Another one I got for Fake Record Store Day is Soul Coughing, and this wasn't actually on my list, but I was listening to the radio and heard some songs off of it, and I'm like, wow, they're amazing. I have to get this album. So I did purchase it, and it is an amazing album. It's by a group called Soul Coughing. And then the last one was another one that I just had to have. I bought this on Fake Record Store Day, and I've still seen them in the stores. So if you're a Fleetwood Mac fan like me, the Fleetwood Mac alternate album box set. So this box set contains 6 albums by Fleetwood Mac with Stevie, Lindsay, Christine, John, and Mick. And it's the albums they all released. So in it, it's not the real albums. What it is the alternate takes from the real albums. So you get the alternate takes from Fleetwood Mac in there, the alternate takes from Rumors, the alternate takes from Tusk, the alternate takes from Live, the alternate takes from Mirage, and then of course the alternate takes from Tango in the Night. So it's a really good package. It's not a bad price. It was only like I think it was $115, and you're getting 8 albums in it because Live and Tusk are both double albums. So if you get a chance, pick that one up while you can, because it's not. I don't think it's going to be there for long. I think once they're sold out, and I've seen a couple. But like I said, grab that one if you see it. Anyway, that's my top 10 favorite Record Store Day releases for this year. Next up are the reissues. Okay, now for the best reissues. I had 44 reissues of compilation albums that I purchased this year, so I narrowed it down to 10 for time's sake. But you can always go to my Discogs and see the list. So the first reissue that I bought this year, it was an incredible year for Prince reissues. Like, he released 8 on one day. I had 4 of them, but I had to get the other 4. And then there was like another 2 released. You know, Prince, people, if you're listening, reissue Diamonds and Pearls next year. Just saying. And I want the hologram on the cover too. Anyway, so the first album that was reissued that I got was Around the World on the Day. This album is just the best. This is the one with Raspberry Beret on it, and there's a few others that are great. Had to have this one. Awesome album. The next reissue was an album by an artist who never got their claim to fame and should have back in the grunge era. She's the godmother of grunge, and her name's Tina Bell, and her group was Bam Bams. And so I had to get Villains Don't Wear White by Bam Bam. Listen to this. It's just an amazing album, and I'm glad I have it in my collection. And if you get a chance, look up Bam Bam, Tina Bell on the internet. You really need to be aware of this artist. She unfortunately is no longer with us, but she deserves her just dues. Next one I had to get was Heart-Shaped World by Chris Isaak. Oh, rockabilly at its best. Love Chris Isaak. And this is the one with Wicked Game on it. Had to get this album. Got it. Love it. Another one I had to get was Information Society. This is the one with Pure Energy on it. That was their big hit. Love this album. If you get a chance, pick it up. So they reissued Joni Mitchell's Blue again this year. They do this every so often. It's Joni Mitchell's best album. It's the one with the river on it. That song's so amazing. And if you don't have this in your collection and you're a serious collector, you need to have it in your collection. It's just an awesome album. The next one, Alice in Chains' Dirt. Oh my god, I forgot how good this album was until I purchased it. I used to have it on cassette. Um, this album just is full of the hits. Rooster, um, Angry Chair, Wood. Just an awesome album by Alice in Chains. If you're a Northwest music collector, this has to go in your collection. Okay, don't laugh. You've been Rickrolled. The next album is Rick Astley's Whenever You Need Somebody, and this is the song, or this is the album that has Never Gonna Give You Up on it. When the song came out, loved it, loved the artist, still love the artist, but I had to have this in my collection, and I'm so glad I bought it. It's just an awesome album. And this next reissue is one that my daughter used to listen to, and it's a good album. Aqua, an Aquarium, and this is the one with Barbie Girl on it. If you have never heard of Aqua or Barbie Girl, look up the video. It's cute. It's awesome. So the next two reissues, these are ones I just had to have somehow in my collection, and this year was the year they were released, and I'm so glad they did, because the albums are just amazing, and if you can find them, go out and get them, because they're awesome. The first one is by the Revolting Cocks, Beers, Steers, and Queers. This one has a cover version of Olivia Newton-John's Let's Get Physical on it, and their take on it is so amazing. You gotta look it up on the internet. It's amazing. And this album itself, just amazing. I'm so glad I purchased it. It's an awesome album. If you can get it, go out and find it. And the last one is probably I've been looking for this album for 2 years, and I could have got it off Discogs and stuff, but I wanted a brand spanking new copy of it. And I'm so glad I waited, because this artist is really just one of my heroes, and I wish I didn't even know him until 2020, until I heard him on the radio, and he's just amazing. I want everything of his in my collection, and I have a few of them already, but this one's Gil Scott-Heron's Pieces of a Man, and if you've never heard of him, this is the album that has The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. And when I first heard that song, it was during 2020, when we were having all the riots and stuff like that for human rights, and the George Floyd killing. This album, I thought it was, when I first heard that song, I thought it was just brand new, because it was so with the times, and I was shocked to find out that it was made in the 70s. And what's even worse is he talks a lot about human rights and how black people have been violated and stuff like that, and no-knock warrants and stuff like that. And it just puts it into perspective that things haven't changed, and they should. I mean, I wish when I listened to this album, it was listening to it as, God, I'm so glad things have changed. I'm so glad things aren't that way anymore. And unfortunately, I'm listening to it like, it's still the same way today, and why haven't things changed? He's just an awesome man. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us either. I wish I would have gotten to know him sooner and knew about him sooner, because he's one of my favorite artists, and I just love him. So that's the reissues for 2022. Those are a few of my favorite reissues. Next, the moment you've all been waiting for, the top 22 new releases of 2022. Stay tuned. Okay, down to my favorite part, the top 22 albums of 2022. This list is the ultimate list. I don't care what the Grammys tell you, what every radio station tells you. This is the ultimate list of albums that were released in 2022. And all the albums on this list were released in 2022, with the exception of one, and I will tell you about that when I get to it. I had 62 albums to choose from on the list, so it was kind of hard narrowing it down, but here we go. I'm going to try to make this quick. Number 22, Kay Tempest, The Line is a Curb. This album's amazing. Kay Tempest is kind of a poet, and so this is an album with her poems and music in the background. Really good album. If you get a chance, check it out. Number 21, Lucius, Second Nature. This album's kind of poppy, disco-y. It's a good album, good to dance to, good music. Number 20, Bowls, Life is Yours. This group kind of reminds me of the Gorillaz. And it's a really good album. You should check it out if you get a chance. Number 19, Automatic Excess. When I heard this album, I thought the album was made in the 80s because it's kind of that 80s new wave sound. Awesome album. If you get a chance, check it out. Number 18, Just Mustard, Heart Under. This album's kind of shoegazy. It's just an awesome album. Check it out if you get a chance. Number 17, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Cool It Down. This has been on my top 1 for a couple weeks of my top 9 list. Very good album, very powerful ballads and music. It's a fun album. Number 16, Abibio Sound Machine, Electricity. This one is just a fun album. It's, you can dance to it. It's electronic. It's really worth checking it out. Number 15, Confidence Man, Tilt. This group kind of reminds me of the B-52s / D-Light. And the album itself kind of reminds me of it. It's fun, dancey songs on it, upbeat. You should definitely check this one out. Number 14, Soccer Mommy, Sometimes Forever. I guess this one kind of reminds me of Snail Mail from last year. But it's a really good album if you get a chance to check it out. Good songs on here. Love this album. Number 13, Dry Cleaning Stump Work. The cover is just disgusting. Don't let that fool you. It's a good album. Gary Ashby is a good song on here. It's kind of their hit. So if you get a chance, check this out. Number 11 is Craig Finn, A Legacy of Rentals. This guy is kind of spoken word too. With music, it's lots of good stories on this album. It took me out of surprise. I never heard of Craig Finn before. But I just love the album. Good stories on here, set to music. Fun album. Get it if you get a chance. Number 11, Hot Chip, Freak Out Release. Oh, this album. It's a good album to just dance to. Lots of good songs on here. Double album. If you get your hands on this, check it out. And now we're at the top 10. So, number 10 was released earlier this year. Jeanette Napolitano's Exquisite Corpses. If you're not familiar with Jeanette Napolitano, she's the lead singer of Concrete Blonde, and anytime she releases an album, it's amazing. And this is no exception. This album took me by surprise how good it was, and I'm sure it's going to be in my top number 1 on the top 9 list coming up. Number 9, Death Cab for Cutie. Asphalt Meadows, excuse me. This one, it just took me surprise too. I wasn't expecting it to be this good, and it's just an amazing little album they have there. Any Death Cab fan should have it, but if you're not even a fan, you should get it. It's just that good. Okay, Odessa, The Last Goodbye is number 8. Oh, this album. They did a song on here called The Last Goodbye with Betty LaVette, and they took her vocals from a song from the 50s or 60s, and then they kind of turned it around to their own version of it. Just amazing, and all the songs on here are just amazing. Check this out if you get a chance. Number 7, Lizzo Special. Oh, this album, just love this whole album. Lizzo, she's an awesome artist, and this one, I mean, God, I heard the first song on here, I was just already hooked, and it's just amazing. You got to pick this up. Number 6, this one actually also gets my number 1 for the best packaging of the year. This is Beyonce's Renaissance. This is the first time I ever bought a Beyonce album, and let me tell you, the packaging on this is just amazing. Not only do you get her album, which is a double album, but you also get a double-sided poster in here. You get a little booklet, and then you get 2 albums, and the the sleeves on them, if you flip them, there's just two different pictures on each side. And it was like $40. I mean, it wasn't bad at all. Awesome album. If you find this, get it. Okay, number 5. Fontaine's DC Skinty Fia. You know, I love their last release that they released, so I was a little worried that it wouldn't be as good as the last release. Oh my god, it is. It's just amazing. If you haven't heard Fontaine's DC, you should check them out. They're an awesome band, and I just love them. Number 4, Rokia Kone and Jackknife Lee. Rokia Kone is from Mali, and this is how I stumbled upon this. Is I listened to this show called Wopop on KXP, and Derek Mazzoni recommended it, and so I heard one of the songs, loved it, heard the album, it's an amazing album. And one of my goals this year was to add more world type music into my collection, and this hit the nail right on the head. If you get a chance, check out this album anywhere. Okay, number 3, this next album, they took the world by storm, literally. Wet Leg, debut album, Wet Leg. You know, if you haven't seen the video for Shays Lounge or Wet Dream, you really should. This is a fun little group. I can't compare them to anybody. They don't compare. They're their own thing. And the music here is just simple, sweet, but you just love it. You just fall in love with them, and their videos are just awesome, hilarious. Wet Leg, coming in at number 3. Number 2 surprised me. I wasn't expecting number 2 to be as good as it was. And let me tell you, it's amazing. Logan Lynn's New Money. Logan Lynn's from Portland. If you haven't heard of Logan Lynn before, he is an awesome artist. He's very versatile. His last couple albums have been very different. And this one kind of returns back to his roots. It's you know, he's a gay artist, and he speaks of gay relationships in the album, and he speaks of how Portland has changed and stuff like that. True Hero, just an awesome album. If you get your hands on this, get it, because you'll love it. Logan Lynn. Okay, number 1, I'm gonna get feedback on this. The number 1 album this year, and I don't care what anyone says, wasn't released in 2022. It was released in 2021. And I've been playing this album all year. Almost should get a new copy because I've played it that much. I mean, I've worn this one out, and I've gotten friends to like it. That's how amazing this is. Hard Feelings, Hard Feelings. This was actually released in 2021 in November, and I didn't get the copy till this year, and I think it was March, of this album, and I'm like, God, this album deserves the accolades because it's just that good. And I'm very staunch really about my top 20 lists for the year. I usually don't do this, but I just had to for this one. And really, out of all the albums that I got this year, this was the best one. I can't stop listening to it. The album, Hard Feelings, it's disco, it's dance. The lyrics are perfect. I mean, the lyrics tell a story. The music videos they released for this are just awesome. This is the album right here. This is the album. I can't find any fault with it. The only fault I can find with the album, and it's not for the artist, is it was released on 2 discs and there's 2 songs each side. That's kind of annoying. But other than that, I'm not going to quibble. This album, I'm telling you, if there's an album, and I've been saying this all year, if you've been watching my posts and shit, this is the album you should get. Look for it, find it, look up the videos. The one song on here that hooked me in was Holding On Too Long. That was the song. And after that song, I loved them all. I mean, this is it. I'm not going to shut up about it. Get your hands on this album. So this is the number 1 album. It's number 1. It was released in 2021, but it's number 1 because it was released late in 2021, and I didn't get a hold of it till 2022. So that's my disclaimer for it, and I'm not guilty about it. This deserves to be number 1. So there you have it, the top 22 of 2022. That's the list. I'll see everybody next year. I'm going to put links to this list in my comments on YouTube and Facebook. And you can see my entire vinyl collection. Also, I'll put that in the comments as well. And it's just so far I just have vinyl on there and I put it on Discogs. Next year I'm hoping to get CDs and tapes on there, but there's been some issues that I have to hammer out before I can do that. But otherwise, I had fun doing this. Hope you had fun watching. Hope it wasn't too boring, and I'll see you next year.